Got that out of your system?
Got it out. So what's going on with you, buddy?
Not a lot.
So no Paul. Unfortunately, he's
Hungover?
hungover. We're recording this on New Year's Day. New Year's Day morning, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So Paul, of course, is sleeping one off. And so it's just Kevin and I. So, yes, welcome back to the PTGPowercast of 2022. Oh my god. You don't believe it's 2022.
No.
No, not at all. These past few years have felt like a total fucking blur.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not great, is it?
No,
it's not great.
It's the reason like my post at midnight was a shit end to a shit year into another one.
Ain't that the truth? This is 2020 part 3.
Yeah.
Yes, but so without Paul, Kevin and I think we're gonna do kind of a 2021 year-end wrap-up, if that makes sense, where we're gonna talk about games we've played this year, not necessarily ones that came out this year, but just the ones that we played this year, and what we're looking forward to in 2022. Because first quarter already has a good wealth of games coming out that are going to be amazing.
Too many.
Yes. Well, at least that we hope are amazing anyway.
Well,
So,
with most of them, if they're half as good as the first ones were, they'll be great.
yeah.
So,
Well, why don't we start with what we're playing right now? What you got? What you been playing lately, buddy? Because I know for a while you've kind of been jumping around. You've been having a hard time finding something to keep your attention.
yeah, I played a bit of Outriders with you and your brother, and then after, I guess we all just kind of got burned out from playing a little bit too much, and I stopped playing that, and then started playing the new season of Diablo 3 just because...
Was it 25?
Yeah.
Good God, man.
So I can just kind of shut my brain off and play that when I just can't figure out what else to do.
That's like your comfort game.
Kind of.
I feel like it's like the pillow that you rest your... You can play Diablo 3 like it's nothing.
Well, it's just one of those things where like I can just shut my brain off and just like reflex play and not actually think about what I'm doing. So it's less of a I'm actually playing and it's more of just autopilot, which is kind of weird, but...
No, I know what you mean. There are certain games, like especially RPGs, where I do that with Shining Force 2 and Phantasy Star 4.
I know Paul does it with like DuckTales.
Oh yeah, Super Mario
Jaws.
RPG. He basically just plays. Yeah, like it's nothing.
It's just, I don't know. It's especially when I'm having focus issues. It's just something I can do. And then played a little bit more of. I've been playing Division 2 again the last couple of days.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a big update that's supposed to be coming this year. I don't know when. So I was just kind of getting some stuff and pre-setting up for when that comes out.
I actually was kind of debating on going back to Division 2. I was kind of looking for a game to play, because I was in the same vein, where like all of a sudden, like, because I've been on a huge Pokemon kick lately. Like, I played through Sword and Shield again, because we had talked about the expansions, how we never played them, so I played through that. I played through the expansions. I did all that, and then I started playing, like, some of the other ones. I'm playing through Sun right now for the 3DS. I have I have Shining Pearl for the Switch right now. So it's like, but once I beat Sword and Shield, Shield, I kind of was just like, well, the fuck am I gonna play now? Because I was like, I tried Outriders again, and I'm like, I'm all right.
Yeah. And
it's like I just couldn't. I look at all my games, I can't find a game I want to play. So like I started jumping between certain things. I tried to play Nier again, Nier Replicant. But I didn't get bored with it. But like I don't know, it just I don't know. It's like I go through these weird phases of games I want to play, and like certain ones will sate my appetite, and for some reason that one wasn't doing it. Because I was doing Metroid Prime 3 for a while after we finished Dread.
Yeah.
So it's like I was on a Metroid kick, then I went on a Resident Evil kick. I played Revelations. I started like 5. I started those and then I stopped those, and it's like I don't know. I go through these weird cycles. But Yeah, now I started. What did I start? I started Shantae again. Shantae and the Seven Sirens was the newer one that came out, which actually I think you would enjoy because I love the Shantae games. I think they're a lot of fun. I loved Half Genie Hero for the Switch, which was that one was weird because it was almost more stage based. Whereas a lot of the Shantae games have been
Castlevania-ish, aren't
they're
they?
more Castlevania, which this one goes back to. The Seven Sirens ones goes back to like the overarching map. With, so that one's definitely more of a Metroidvania, which I think you would enjoy. It's a fun game. I've always enjoyed those. So I'm playing Shantae again. Like I said, Pokemon Sun, and then I started playing Fatal Frame for the PS2.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to start getting into those. So. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been going on with right now. And Magic Knight Ray Earth, of course. If everyone's watched our video on YouTube, the Christmas video from 2021, that was the big gift Paul got me, was Magic Knight Ray Earth that he bought on accident. Accident.
He bid, he just didn't expect to actually win.
Yeah.
It's not the first time he's done that, though.
No, definitely not the first time. But so yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing lately. Other than that, now I'm just playing stuff, waiting for things to come out. But yeah, 2021 I played a lot of good shit, I have to say. Like I said, I started Resident Evil Revelations because when I got Paul finally got his PS5 this year.
Yeah.
Well, last year now. I ended up getting him all the Resident Evils that had come out. The remake of 2 and 3.
The collections and stuff like that. Yeah,
the remake of 2 and 3. I got him Village. I got him Biohazard. Was that 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him 7 and 8. So it's like I kind of got him all those, and I'm just like, I actually wouldn't mind doing that. So I got myself, the 2 collections on the Switch, and then I got all of those as well. And I played through the remake of 2, which I enjoyed quite a bit, even though,
it's different.
I hate adaptive difficulty. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the weak spots of that game. So
yeah. Otherwise, the game looks fan-fucking-tastic. I can't tout those remakes enough. Those are really, really good. Mr. X is scary as hell. Yeah,
like him following you is just. It's one of those things where, especially if you're not expecting him, and all of a sudden he's just there in your face, you're like, "Well, I'm dead."
Yeah. And I ended up running into a point because I didn't realize it was adaptive difficulty. And so, like, throughout the game, enemies respawn, which I didn't realize.
Only at certain story segments.
Yeah, well, they come through the windows.
Oh, that, yeah.
I didn't realize that. So I kept getting all these boards, and I'm like, I didn't do anything with them, which was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
Because I would go down the hallway I needed to go down, and I kept meeting zombies. Well, I would just kill them.
Yeah.
Whoops. That was a mistake. So by the time I entered, I think it was the sewers.
You're low on ammo?
I have no ammo.
Oh, jeez.
0 ammo. I have maybe 15 shots with the handgun. And enemies, by the way, take about 15 shots to kill at this point. Like the basic zombie. I was like, get the fuck out of here. So I ended up being a bitch, and I spent a few dollars to get unlimited ammo with like the rocket launcher and some of the other. I got the special weapon unlocks. So but even with those, it takes forever to kill shit. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, the unlimited handgun, but like the MP5 and the Gatling gun, not so much.
No.
Or the rocket launcher's a one shot. So.
Yeah, but it's like as I'm going through the sewers, I'm meeting all these things, like the big shit demon things.
Yeah. And
I met like 6 of them. I'm like, if I didn't have these unlocks, how are you feasibly supposed to deal with all this stuff? It doesn't make sense to me.
In the remake, you're actually supposed to use like the flash grenades and stuff like that and just run.
Really?
You're not supposed to kill everything.
Ugh.
I mean, it went back to like true ammo management and stuff in that one if you're not because the adaptive difficulty will set it up so where you just lose all your ammo because it's taking more shots, or the other thing you have to do is start kneecapping so they fall over and then just using your knife while they're down.
Yeah, maybe.
But then you got to be careful with that because you could break your knife.
That's the thing that sucks too, is the knives aren't infinite, which was stupid. I thought they should have had like a side knife weapon because Lord knows it fucking needed it.
Yeah.
So it's like I have my gripes with the game, but it was still a really, really good game, and they did a fantastic job with the remake. I thought they really nailed it.
I haven't played through 3 yet.
No?
The remake for 3.
I haven't either. I played, like I said, I played through 2. I did a little bit of 7, but I don't think I'm going to enjoy that very much, because I don't like being chased. Because I'm really not good at that kind of stuff. Like, I fought the dude in the car, or in the garage.
Where you drive
the car into him after dying umpteen times because I didn't realize you weren't actually supposed to fight him. You're just supposed to get to the keys as quickly as possible and hit him with the car. I'm like, what?
Well, you basically fight him to stun him so you can get the keys and stuff like that.
But then, like, so I'm like, okay, cool, finish this up. All right, now I'm looking around the house and all of a sudden he pops up again. And now I'm just running for my life. And he always knows where you are. So it's like, I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. Because I'm not good under those kinds of conditions.
Yeah, I think once you get past that, though, he stops chasing you.
Is it?
Yeah. There's only certain segments where he chases you, I believe. So.
I mean, it's a great... I mean, the game looks fantastic. And it is really fucking scary and intense. Like, don't get me wrong. Those games are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm just not good at them. Andy Z is not good at...
Then you're not going to be good at 8 either.
No, probably not.
Because Lady
Demiscus...
Yeah, and then the daughters chase you.
I just call her Lady DQ.
Lady Double D's.
A lot of porn with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was one of the games I played last year. What about you?
Let's see. East 9.
Yes, Monstrum Nox came out last year, February, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I some of ours I think are going to overlap a little bit.
Probably. I was actually compiling my list while we were just doing the opening.
Yeah.
Because like I had a website open that had all the major releases from last year. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
East 9 was one of them. Fantastic
9,
game. Probably one of the best in the series.
It's my favorite of the series so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
The story's told in a much better way in that one than some of the previous games.
I'll agree with that. It's because it's a lot more of a mystery as to what's happening.
Granted, like the whole the city being segmented off by the barriers, cool but annoying. Mm-hmm. I honestly would rather them give me the entire map and then just not give me the abilities to go into some place and just allow me to walk wherever I want.
Yeah, I can see that. It kind of tries more to ease you into everything because it is a big city.
Yeah,
Balduca is a big city. That's why I kind of liked Lacrimosa, East 8. I thought did it very, very well. Where it's just you couldn't progress because something stopped you. So
because you needed to find enough villagers to clear the path and
which I guess is kind of the same principle, really.
Yeah, it sort of, but. I don't know. And the other thing is, like, I'm kind of a little sick of them doing it, is in Lacrimosa, it was the defend the beach.
Oh, the raids.
And then in this one, it's the defend the crystal thing.
Yeah.
They need to get away from that mechanic. They need to stop using it.
I kind of agree, because those just don't feel like they break
up the flow of the game so bad. And in East 9, the biggest problem is, granted, you can skip the little cutscene, but it's that same cutscene every fucking time right before it of what's her name shooting the gun. And it's like, I'm not watching a Saturday morning cartoon. I don't need to see this every damn time.
Yeah. Well, that, and they just never... like, at least in Lacrimosa, when you're doing the beach and all that, it's different areas. This one was just kind of the one.
Yeah, it just...
And it never felt like a threat, if that makes sense. Because you have all of your party members there, and they all fight at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just a giant clusterfuck. It basically turns into just, I'm going to mash the button a whole bunch and hope I hit shit.
Use my strongest skill and watch everything die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least there was a sort of degree to it in Lacrimosa.
But even, like I said, it just doesn't add, it doesn't actually add anything to the game.
Yeah.
And
although there was a different one. Because there was the raid where it was just defend the crystal. Then there was the one where you had to collect
the shards.
The shards, which was
annoying.
Still stupid. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Those...
Or you could defeat enough of the enemies and then fight the big one and kill it, and then you just auto-collect everything.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of with you on that.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, those are clearly in there to add padding for the game and nothing else.
Yeah.
So I'd rather they focus on telling a better, shorter story than filling it with fluff that gives me nothing.
Which I will say, the story in Monstrum Nox was very good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Just like I liked the one in Lacrimosa. It took forever to get going because you actually don't even meet Dana until like halfway to 60% way through the game. And you're like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
But at least with Monstrum Nox, like it kind of...
Well, and Monstrum Nox also has like two stories that are going on at once.
Yeah.
You have the in the city and then you have the in the prison story. Yeah. So you're getting two different stories going at once.
It was kind of an interesting thing, and you're like, what? It kind of gives you the same thing where you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? But it does unfold, and it's actually a really cool, it's a really, really good story.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
And traversal abilities were a nice touch.
Yeah.
Like the verticality of like being able to go up, and then like it added movement that felt more fluid than the previous games.
Exploring Balduke was amazing.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with the scaling the buildings, with the cat run and all that stuff, and even the random encounters in the town was kind of a cool touch, where you could spark the thing to spawn the enemies. That was a cool idea. I really, really enjoyed that. But yeah, I think Monstrum Nox was fantastic. I was very pleased with it when it came out.
I don't remember if I've got the platinum or I'm really close to it. Yeah, I'm close to it. I didn't do traverse enough distance or play as each of the other characters enough to get their achievements, but
that's funny. I want to say I don't really use Adol that much.
He's the only one I used.
Yeah, I never did. I ended up using a lot of the other characters. Like I liked the little cat girl. I used her for quite a bit, and then I liked the guy with the double swords, even though I hated his actual character.
The eagle or whatever.
Yeah. I can't remember what his tag is, but yeah, I actually liked his fighting style a lot, and even the doll. I liked doll.
I like her. Yeah,
she had a cool weapon, and I liked her story and everything. I never really used that all that much.
I usually do, even in other games like that where it's like you've got this party. I always just end up using the main character, just because it's who you usually have the longest and who's usually the most developed. So.
Yeah. Well, this one was more unique in the fact that versatility was definitely more apparent because you could change everybody's attack type.
Yeah.
Whereas like E7, I want to say only Adol could change it because he had different weapons. He had like the heavier weapon. He had like the stabbing ones and then just the regular sword. So he could change between the strike, pierce, and bash. Want to say, and then he got one that did all of them.
Yeah.
But I want to say none of the other characters did. Then again, E7 was such a clusterfuck.
No, yeah, E7, I think Adol was the only one that could change.
Yeah, but then, Lacrimosa, I want to say you could change out some of them, but this one really changed it to where, like, everybody really feasibly could be
because you got the
everything.
Accessory that could change your attack type.
Yeah, you didn't necessarily have to change the weapon.
Yeah.
Which was neat. I think it's a cool idea, so if you have characters you really like, you can swap them into whatever role they need to be in.
Yeah.
Very good game. Highly recommend that series.
Yeah.
I really do. Can't recommend it enough.
Alright.
So let's see. Obviously, the one that we played, that we did a whole fucking podcast episode about was Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
Came out last year. That, to me, that was probably Game of the Year for me last year because that one was so fantastic and it was such a beautiful, almost like renaissance for the series that it just like every aspect of that game felt fantastic.
I don't know if I would say Game of the Year, but it was definitely up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good direction for the series to be taking.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes from here because the previous story is done.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they plan on doing, and if it's going to take another 21 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, what is it, 19 years or whatever since the
Fusion? It was like 14. something like that.
Yeah, so
it had been a while.
So hopefully it's not that long in between again.
No. Well, I do know that there was, I don't know if it was confirmed or if it was still just rumors, where they're remastering or remaking Metroid Prime for the Switch.
Yeah.
And then I know Prime 4 has been in development hell for however many years now, but I like the Prime series. I think the Prime series is fantastic, which actually brings me to my next one, Metroid Prime. I played Prime 1 and Prime 3, which I had never played Corruption before or seen it. Corruption's fantastic.
Yeah.
I really think that would be a fun one to play on the channel sometime, because it's definitely more narrative, because there's other people. It's not just her.
Yeah, but you can't have narrative in a Metroid game because the fan base hates it.
Yeah, really. Look what they did to Other M.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Corruption was really good. It was a gorgeous game for the Wii. I was surprised at how good it looked.
A lot of the Wii games looked good. It just... They're being dumb and not using HDMI.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it...
Yeah. It was a detriment. It really was.
The Wii and the Wii U were one of those systems, like, there's so many good, games on it, but it was Nintendo being Nintendo and not understanding what the fuck to do with technology.
It was stifling their hardware.
Yeah.
They opted for innovation over graphics, which they kind of always do.
But even then, the innovation, once you got past, like, the Wiimote and stuff like that, like, a lot of the games that released, like, outside of, like, some, like, some of the great ones, like the Xenoblade Chronicles and stuff like that, like, a lot of the games, once you get past, like, the motion controls, they're not innovative beyond that.
No. Really,
and even then, like, it's an interesting concept, but on a console game, doesn't really work. It works in VR, doesn't really work for the console games. Look at fucking Zelda. It suffered from the Wiimote,
Unfortunately, yeah, Skyward Sword.
So
fantastic game to me. I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
but for the time, the Wii motion was still not quite perfect enough to make it.
Even the motion controls on the Switch suck.
Yeah, I haven't played it for the Switch yet.
Well, I haven't played the Switch version, but like Breath of the Wild, when you have to use the motion controls on the ball puzzles.
Oh yeah,
it's garbage.
Yeah,
There's a reason I literally flip the puzzles over and cheat.
Yeah, it was just easier that way.
Yeah, like motion controls are one of those things where just console games cannot be developed around using them very well.
No,
or
it's just some weird goofy gimmick.
Yeah,
that just doesn't play out.
And like Nintendo is one of those they do a lot of good in introducing certain things like to gaming, but at the same time they need to stop holding themselves back and shooting themselves in the foot. If Nintendo were to actually say, hey, you know what, fuck it, let's go like the other companies do, release a killer fucking hardware, their games would be far, far better than what they currently are.
I don't know though if they would succeed in that. Because you figure Xbox and PlayStation are so far ahead of Nintendo.
Well, and it's not necessarily just like not going for like the realistic graphics, but frame rates that don't stop dropping down to single digits.
Yeah.
Which is a problem for the Switch on some games. Like there are games where you'll be like going along at like 30 frames a second, then all of a sudden, boom, I'm down to like 9 or 10. And it's like, come on. Like Astral Chain, fucking perfect example. That game on better hardware at a higher frame rate would be so much cooler than what it is.
I agree.
It is held back by the system.
Yeah.
And that's Nintendo's biggest problem.
It's just, being short-sighted in that fact.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you there.
Like,
even if it wasn't up to PlayStation or Xbox, at least just give yourself enough room for your system to shine.
Yeah.
As far as hardware goes.
Well, and
because limiting even the cards to like the 32 gig or whatever the size cards those are, those really hinder their developers from really pushing. Because like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, fucking gorgeous.
Yes.
Astral Chain, fucking gorgeous.
And that's the one where Nintendo, like I said, they don't necessarily have to go after the hyper realistic graphics because they do better stylized graphics.
Mm-hmm.
But allowing yourself to have the headroom to be able to do stuff, to not have to cut corners in other ways, would be amazing. But they just
like Dread was one of the most beautiful games on the Switch that they've ever released, in my opinion. Anyway.
Okay, it's gorgeous.
Like the way it's rendered completely in 3D and just how seamless everything was it blew me away.
Yeah,
it really did. I'll never understand anybody who said that game looked ugly, or did not look good. I think they are so full of shit.
Yeah,
because it looks better than a lot of the games on the PlayStation or Xbox, in my opinion. I think it looked fantastic.
Yeah,
especially for what it was.
I'm gonna say depending on like how we're comparing stuff.
I suppose that's
obviously
true.
Because like Insomniac's Spider-Man or Miles Morales for PS5. Sorry, there's no comparison. Dread looks like shit compared to those.
Yeah, I suppose that's
so like but there's like so many like hyper fine details that they can do because of the more powerful hardware. Dread, if it had that type of hardware, would be up there with one of the best looking games ever made.
Yeah.
So
like even the Prime games, if you think about it, if the Prime games were able to be as finely detailed as like something on the PlayStation or the Xbox would be, I think they could really make a really good like immersive experience with those. Like they should be. Like you see a lot of first person games of that style and like that type of environment on those systems, and they look great.
Yeah, look at like Metro and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Metro is probably the best example to compare to like the Primes because it's all about setting up the atmosphere and like stuff like that. So
one of the games I had played on this year was The Persistence. It's kind of like a roguelite, but not really.
I don't know.
It's I would say it was one that was free on PlayStation Plus for a while, but the atmosphere is wonderful, like and it looks really really good.
Yeah.
And I always feel like it feels like a Prime game to me, even though it doesn't function anywhere near that. But
or hell, Control. It goes for like
Control.
Control is one of those games where putting it onto weaker hardware or something like the Switch would have killed the game.
Yeah.
Like it just or Returnal.
There's no way.
You couldn't do a game like that on the weaker hardware, and that's kind of Nintendo's one issue, I think.
Yeah, Returnal would never have survived. Deathloop even wouldn't look that good.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of that, not much to really make my list here, but I'd started, and Deathloop looks fantastic.
I'm going to have to borrow that from you at some point.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy that one, even though you're not a big roguelite kind of guy. It is, but it's not.
But it's also it has a direct narrative tied to it. So
yeah,
I'd be able to get past it for that.
And it is funny. Like just playing the hour or so I played at the beginning was really hilarious.
How far did you get up to the cabin?
I don't know. I don't think I got very far into it. I got to my first death, which is scripted, and then he wakes up again.
Trying to remember what your first death is. The first death where you fall out the window?
Yes.
By yourself?
No, she pushes you out.
Wait, but you meet yourself?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
Not that I remember anyway.
Okay, then that must be further beyond that. That's where I've seen because one of my friends was like, "You got to see this scene," so I watched it. I'm like, "Okay, that's funny. I got to play that game."
It is really trippy because it reminds me of Returnal a little bit because you'll see like
remnants of
where your previous lives were, and it's actually pretty clever.
Yeah,
I really like the idea of it. Even like Returnal was one I really loved the idea of her encountering her previous deaths and leaving notes for herself, and it was actually really really well done, which was one of the games from last year that I played, Returnal.
Yeah.
We did do a small recording that never saw the light of day, but yeah, that game was fantastic too. That one was a little heavier on roguelite than I think you would have liked.
Yeah, after watching you play that one, that just to mention it's very bullet hell against the bosses.
Very bullet hell.
And between the combination of those two things, I was like, no, I'm not gonna play that one.
Yeah, I definitely don't blame you on that one. But Deathloop, I think you would enjoy. I really do.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
The Marvel's Avengers game, which I know I talked about it one other time, and glad I didn't pay full price for that one. Like that one, I got it like on sale for cheap, and
yeah,
it's one of those games where
now which one is it? Was it like what was the one that came out not that long ago? The Black Phoenix one or whatever. Or Black Eagle, or whatever the hell it was.
Black Order? The
Ultimate
Switch.
Alliance? Was it Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah, Ultimate Alliance.
Is that kind of what this one was like, or no?
No, well, this one wanted to be like that, but then at some point in development, they switched it from just being like a team RPG like that to making it a game as a service, like... So, yeah, like, there was just... A lot of the design stuff was just shit, and...
Ugh.
Like... Combat and movement feel clunky. They recently just introduced, what was it, in October or November, I think? They introduced Spider-Man to the PlayStation version of the game, and it's fucking terrible. And it's one of those things where it's like, there are some good core ideas in the game, but like games as a service type, like that live service games, other than MMOs, just need to fucking die.
Yeah, I don't really care for that model. I always feel like the games are not as good as they could be.
Well, they're held back because they want to be able to monetize.
Right.
And like sell things like cosmetics and like stuff that'll affect how the game plays. It's like, no, like give me the game. Just give me the game I want to play.
That's how I felt when I found out Destiny 2 went that way.
Yeah.
And it completely killed all my motivation to even come back to it. Which sucks, because it's like a game like that, I don't even feel like I could trade in for anything.
No.
Like, I have Destiny 1. What the fuck am I going to do with it? Nobody even plays it anymore. I don't think I could find a player on it.
Well, and that's like Division. I think Division hit the fine line between the two.
Yeah.
Like, because it's still completely playable solo, but you can group up and it's enjoyable at the higher difficulties with a group.
Yeah.
I think Outriders does it as well.
Outriders did a very good job of it.
So it's one of those things where, like, you can take a few of the elements, but if you go too far one direction, it's just like, no, you suck. Especially if it's like unstable server connections and shit like that. So
what was that other one that came out just not that long ago? Was it Guardians of the Galaxy?
That's a single player story.
That's a single player one?
Yeah.
That's one I had seen a lot of good stuff about it.
I want to play that one.
I almost debated picking that one up because I heard it's actually pretty good.
It's a single player, like, I think it's mission based. And you play as just Star-Lord the entire game, and then you can give commands to the other Guardians to do stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So is it kind of more of like the it wasn't Ultimate Alliance. What were the other ones? Was it X-Men Legends?
Well, X-Men
Legends.
No, X-Men Legends is basically Ultimate Alliance under another name.
Oh, okay.
Because X-Men Legends was the one where it starts off. Yeah, and you get the different team members, and then Ultimate Alliance was the one that spun out of those.
Okay, but this one's not like that. Really?
No, it's
just you have your captain, and then everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
interesting.
And like, there's minor like exploration where you can do things to affect the environment a little, to find secrets and other costumes and shit like that. From what I've heard, so.
Yeah, but I heard that one was actually supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I maybe I'll have to. I can't imagine that one's still very expensive. Usually games, especially because is that considered a AAA title? Usually those games.
It's Square.
They've really been pumping out a lot of shit lately.
I think they're the publisher. I don't know if they were the developer, but.
Oh yeah. Well, not shit meaning bad games, but I'm saying they've been really putting out a lot.
Yeah, they've been publishing more than usual.
Yeah, because there's one on my list for games I'm looking forward to. That's another Square Enix one. That's kind of interesting, but it's like, yeah, boy, I feel like every game that's been coming out in this past half year, it feels like it's Square Enix. Like, holy shit, dude. Yes, let's see. We talked about Outriders a little bit, even though that wasn't that a 2020 release, I want to say? I feel like. Or was that this year?
No, I want to say that was this
last year.
Or this 2021.
February? Was it around the same time?
April.
Oh, it was April, that's right.
They came out on April 1st.
That's right, because everyone thought it was a joke. No, it wasn't. That's right. So yeah, Outriders. was a good one. We sunk a lot of time into.
I put a lot of time into that one.
Yeah, we did a whole Powercast episode with my brother Adam. If you guys want to give a listen to that, we talk about it. We really should have came back to that a bit.
We know, because we did. We did the demo one, and then did we do one after when the full game released?
We did the demo and then the full game, but we never went back to it once we started doing the expeditions, which I suppose really I should get back into so we can actually finish it, like to do Eye of the Storm or whatever.
Yeah.
The ending of it, because we never did. Because there's post game where you do basically like, well, I guess for anybody who's played Destiny, strikes, for lack of a better...
They're just small dungeons.
Small dungeons, yeah, just small...
They're like one-off dungeons.
Yeah.
They do technically have segments of the story.
Yes, because
each one
there
of
is
them does.
Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a post-game story where you go to this Eye of the Storm after you do so much and level up to a certain point, and it's supposed to be the end of it.
Yeah.
But, maybe we'll have to...
Honestly, I literally only have 2 left to do. And it's Eye of the Storm and one other one that was added, and I don't remember when. But they're literally the only 2 I haven't done.
Yeah, that's one I have to finish because next year, I think World Slayer comes out, their DLC.
Yeah.
And that one's supposed to be... We'll see what that one adds. Maybe we'll do a Powercast on World Slayer.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm sure Adam will get it, and...
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll dick around with that when that comes out.
I'm hoping for like a new class or something.
That would be cool. I'd be alright with that.
Yeah. Or more skill points.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, that was one of my... Because once you started doing those expeditions, it's like, I want to respec. But, like, you really only have that one route you can take. And there's really no going around it.
It's unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you've got the 3 trees and you can play how you want, but just like all games of that style, there's an optimal path per every class.
Yeah, depending on what you're wanting it to do.
Yeah.
Which I will say they did change quite a bit in it with the expeditions, because when we did our Powercast...
They were timed.
The expeditions were timed, and it was basically no matter what, you had to prioritize DPS.
Yep.
Well, with the latest update, that New Horizons update, they removed the timers. So you're getting treasure, you're getting treasure.
Based on the level.
Based on the difficulty of the dungeon. Yeah. Perfect. It's what it should have been to start.
Yes.
So now you can technically play more as you would choose to play. You don't need to prioritize damage.
But it's one of those things where it's like, because of the way their scaling works on the difficulty, you basically still end up going DPS anyways to finish as many as you can, as quickly as you can, to get the resources to buy the shit you need. Which kind of sucks.
I ended up myself doing more survivability.
Yeah.
Because I suck.
I want to say, like, my engineer just runs around with a rocket launcher blowing everything up.
Yeah.
So.
And I know your pyromancer, that phaser beam is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They really did that thing some justice finally.
Yeah.
Retooling, they did a good job, I will say. For as much shit as people give that game when it released and all this shit, they've really found their footing with the patches and fixing issues that come up.
And that's the one thing is, like, unlike a lot of companies, they at least addressed the issues that the fan base had.
Oh, yeah.
And then fixed them. And then there were other ones that, like the timers on the expeditions, like, there was a subsection of the fan base that wanted those to stay. And they're just kind of like, nah, we get it. These are kind of dumb. We don't know what we were thinking. We took them away. But if you want, you can go into the options and turn the timer back on.
Does it actually affect anything if you put the timers on?
I don't know.
I wonder.
But at that point, I don't even care, though.
No, I wouldn't either. But it's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
And it's a good choice. Give players the option to put them on or off.
Yep.
That's always a better option than just taking it away and saying this is what it is.
Yeah.
Or leaving it on and saying this is what it is. You know what I mean? That's why I really admire what they've done with the game. Even though a lot of people didn't like it, I think the game's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the atmosphere they created, the way the game plays, and how everything handles, they did a fantastic job for what it is.
Like the expansion should be interesting, and then potential sequels.
Yeah.
So
that's why it still kills me. I really wish Anthem would have been given a better shot.
To be honest, what I wish would happen is because they're closing that one down, they're not updating it anymore, doing anything with it. Honestly, I wish they would just sell the IP to someone who could take that engine and just make a fantastic single-player game out of it.
Yeah,
a single-player open-world game where you're based around just choosing one of the suits and doing stuff would be fucking amazing. Because the flight was so good, combat was good.
No, the game was... I binged that game for like a couple months. I fucking loved it.
The only thing was there was just... The end game it's just like with Destiny 1 when it released, there was no end game.
No.
The end game was running these same like 2 or 3 missions repeatedly, and it's one of those things where it's like after a certain point
you could see they had plans to do more, and especially since they set the story up to continue. Yeah. And it just flopped.
And the art style for the suits was fucking amazing.
Oh, the javelins look fantastic.
I love them.
I loved it too. I thought the classes were incredible. I loved was the wizard one. I can't remember what the name of it was. Was it the Storm something or other?
Yeah, it might have been Storm.
Yeah, I thought all the classes were incredible.
Yeah, because it was Colossus, Ranger,
Striker. No. I don't remember. Yeah, either. It's been a while.
It's basically your heavy, your average, your speedy, and then your magic based.
Pretty much,
the 4 archetypes for D&D classes.
Pretty much, yeah. Which, it's a shame that one kind of fell off. But that's another one too. It's like, what do you do with it? I can't trade it in. It's worth a cent, maybe. Yeah, it's like, that's why Outriders, as much as I love physical, I didn't mind getting it digital because it's like, well, once this game kind of goes to pass, what am I going to do with it? Yeah. I can't trade it in. It ain't worth anything.
That's one of the big problems with any form of game as a service. It's just, or MMOs, where it's just like, yeah, you buy it, but when they finally eventually are done...
You can't do anything with it. Once the servers are down, you can't even play it. Yeah. So that's, unfortunately, that's the way a lot of games are going. It makes me mad.
Well, that's why games as a service was always still like single-player games more than anything, so...
Oh, 100%.
Alright, let's see. What else do I got? Monster Hunter Rise.
Didn't get that one.
Well, you're not a big fan of the Monster Hunter series.
I really tried with Worlds, and it just... I couldn't.
Like, Monster Hunter, especially when you compare it to, God Eater. But Monster Hunter has some of the coolest weapon, armor, and creature designs in the fucking world. Yeah. Unfortunately, they are still stuck in a fucking mindset from the PS2. Combat and gameplay, it's added some tweaks here and there. It's sped up in a few ways here and there, but you compare the PS2 game to either Monster Hunter World or Monster Hunter Rise, it's nearly identical still.
That's sad.
It's not changed that much. And then you compare the combat in Monster Hunter Rise to the combat in God Eater. You're like, okay, why I'm walking through peanut butter in fucking Monster Hunter, whereas in God Eater I'm zipping around everywhere and doing shit. And
oh yeah, God Eater to me was a million times better than Monster Hunter ever was. Yeah, and to me it felt. Well, I wouldn't say it was more customizable, because you actually do have quite a wealth of weaponry in Monster Hunter. Yeah. But
that's like I said, that's why the armors and the weapons and creatures in Monster Hunter, they're fucking amazing. There are very few games that could ever come close to the creature designs and stuff like that. And being able to clearly I killed this creature, I took these pieces, I made my armor. It looks like that creature.
That was always cool. That was a cool touch.
But it's one of those things where it's just gameplay needs to catch up. They need to take a page from the God Eater book and make a fast-paced one that's much more over-the-top action versus the standard Monster Hunter.
I wonder if they're hesitant to do that because they'll lose the fans that have been with them for so long.
Yeah, well, and the fan base for Monster Hunter is as stupid as the fan base is for the Dark Souls franchise, where it's, well, if you don't like it, too bad, fuck off. Well, it's no. At some point, companies need to realize they'll make more money if they say, hey, we're going to do something different and pull people in. That's why Monster Hunters did Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, those spin-offs, yeah.
The turn-based RPGs. They need to do other stuff to appeal to, the non-fans, too. Mm-hmm, otherwise, eventually, sell,
even Pokemon did it with Let's Go. Yeah. Those games were by all intents and purposes, the same game as Pokemon, but it was catering to a different audience that didn't care so much about battling.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you still had to battle, but it made working up a lot easier, and it wasn't really about the fighting. It was about the catching shit.
Yeah.
That was the whole point,
Yeah.
Which this Pokemon Arceus that comes out, which I suppose was jumping the gun just a smidge about what we're looking forward to, but that's going to change the formula as well. And I hear there's already leaks and shit about people are going to be pissed off because it's not like the old Pokemon games. Well, no shit.
Well, but see, that one's because and this is where it gets weird, because like, yeah, you could do spin-off games that are not the mainline games to appeal to a different subset like audience, and still do your mainline games to appeal to the annoying asshats that don't want change.
Yeah.
So it's like
at some point you do have to evolve.
Yeah.
Into a speaking of Pokemon, there, you do have to change to modernize. I guess is the best way to put it. You can't be stuck in doing the same thing, even though again Pokemon's been doing the same thing since.
Well, yeah, but look at how many side steps like Pokemon takes.
Yeah.
You got Pokemon Snap. You got mystery dungeons. You got Pokemon Rangers. You got Pokemon like
stadiums,
pinball, stadium,
Trozoi, which nobody remembers.
What's the one with the little like the wind up Pokemon?
Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done so many offshoots that it like, kind of appeals.
They've got something. Hell, they did Pokken Fighter.
Yeah, they did, which was so odd, but it worked.
But it's one of those things where it's like they tried more than just we're going to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So at least like with Pokemon, yeah, we can say that they've attempted other stuff to see what would work and what wouldn't.
Yeah, I actually got those games for Christmas this year. I got the 3 Pokemon Ranger games, and they are phenomenal. They're so fun and cute and adorable, and it's a different take on Pokemon, which I love. Yeah. And even Stadium was such a huge, a huge phenomenon when it came out, because it was the first time you were ever seeing Pokemon rendered in 3D.
Yeah,
it's that's not as big of a deal now because everything's 3D.
Being able to take your cart and put the Pokemon from the Game Boy onto the TV and battle against another person in the living room, and not need the link cable and shit. You just need 2 of those packs and you were good to go.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And Monster Hunter, I feel like if I were ever gonna play it, it would need to catch up to like God Eater or. I mean, you had games even on like the PSP or Vita of that style. Like you had Freedom Wars and
Lord of Arcana, which was the Square Enix one.
Yeah, you had Soul Sacrifice.
Yeah,
hugely fun and interesting games that kind of mimic that style. They were still hard. Yeah, and they were 10 times more fun. Than those were. Yeah, especially Freedom Wars. I fucking loved Freedom Wars.
Well, Freedom Wars and God Eater are just amazing.
If they ever got anything off of the Vita onto like consoles, it would be Freedom Wars and Soul Sacrifice. I feel like those 2 games need to come to, because I think they do well on the Switch. I mean, it basically handheld. Granted,
with Soul Sacrifice, they'd have to change things up a little bit, because it's an arena. It's like a PvE arena fighter type thing. Yeah. So they would have to do some tweaking to that. Otherwise, you would notice that a lot more on a console as opposed to a handheld.
Well, I mean, God Eater essentially is a PvE arena.
Yeah, and you notice it. That's one of the things.
I suppose that's true.
Because, especially in Soul Sacrifice, there was only 6 areas you fought in or something like that.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. You're right.
So it would become very noticeable very quickly.
They would have to do something to it to really... Yeah, they would have to... Because, I mean, between Soul Sacrifice and Delta, the re-release of it with extra shit, they did add quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah.
But, like you said, they would have to add a bit more, I think, to it to really make it flourish on the consoles.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be a great addition.
Oh, God, yeah. It would be... The visuals would be able to step up to be what the game deserves.
Yeah.
Because I will. That's one of the few things I will say that was bad about it. As much as I love the art style and stuff, it is very muddy on the Vita.
Yeah.
So.
But it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really don't have much else that I played. I started playing Fatal Frame, which we're gonna start playing on the channel, I think. It still surprises me to this day how much Paul has a penchant for survival horror.
Oh, there's a ton of survival horror. He's never touched that.
I'm just surprised he doesn't own these. I mean, these are like quintessential PS2
I don't even think
titles.
he has the Onimusha series.
That's survival horror?
The first one, it starts off, it was made by Capcom.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, the first one is very...
Those were...
No, the first one is... It's a very, like,
really?
survival horror with, like... It'd probably be better to say it's more of an action survival horror.
Mm.
But it's one of those things where if you suck, you can run out of healing items and fuck yourself and have to start over.
Interesting.
Like,
I've never really looked into those.
Like, the later games, like, what is it, like, Dawn of Dreams and stuff, it starts, like, the Resident Evil series, gets more action-y as it goes on.
Hmm.
But he doesn't have those. Those would be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to play those on the.
Oh, hell yeah. But I'm just surprised that, like, he doesn't have the Fatal Frames. Not even one of them. I think he has 2 on the Xbox.
Doesn't he have one for the Wii?
I don't think there is one. I mean, there is one on the Wii, but it never came out here. Because there's...
Or was it the Wii U? There was one.
There was one on the Wii U, but it was digital only, so I seriously
I doubt that he
had
has it, yeah.
Which actually I did for Christmas for myself. I ordered a physical copy of the new one that came out, that Made in Black Water. Because really, region lock isn't so much a thing anymore. So, like, you can order the... I think I ordered the Asia version.
Yeah.
But it's in fully voiced English and subtitle English. So for all intents and purposes, it's an English game.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just release it physical here?
Nah, I don't know. They're weird like that.
So, like, from, like, PlayAsia.com, I think, is the site. I ordered that for myself, and it was only, like, $45. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So I have that coming. And it's supposed to have a whole bunch of extra shit, and I'm looking forward to it. Because so far, I'm loving Fatal Frame. It is the perfect, like, survival horror game, but isn't quite as resource restrictive as, like, Resident Evil is. You can never run out of ammo.
Wow. Okay. Cause
you have infinite version of, like, your weaker film, but you never run out of it because you can refill it at all the save points up to a certain point. You can run out of healing items.
Yeah.
But that's about it. So I mean, if you really suck, and there's no way to regain your health other than with those healing items. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. I'm really looking forward to playing on the channel. So, yep. Fatal Frame, I have 2 and 3, and now I have 4 coming. And I didn't realize Spirit Camera for the 3DS was part of the Fatal Frame series.
Wasn't there another one that was part of the franchise, but is like a very different game? I wanted to say it was either the Wii or the Wii U.
Well, there was one for the Wii. It was called Lunar Eclipse or something like that. Let me look it up real quick. I'm sure I searched for it on eBay. Nope, I definitely did not. Damn it. No, fuck. Yeah, there is one for the Wii that never came out here.
Mask of the Lunar Eclipse?
Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. I don't know if it's the same kind of style as the old ones, or the other ones, but yeah. Well, I know the Spirit Camera one for the 3DS it uses the augmented reality.
Oh, okay.
So you actually go around and capture the ghosts in your environment. Kind of cool. I always like that kind of shit. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, so... That's another one, too, I wouldn't mind getting my hands on, because it's still relatively cheap. I think it goes for about 40 complete. 40, 45. I really don't remember, but that'd be a neat one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I started that one. That was fun.
There's one for... I want to say it was for the...
Unless it's one that's, like, part of it, but not, if that makes sense. Like, kind of like how Kudelka for the PS1 is technically part of the Shadow Hearts series, but it's not called Shadow Hearts.
Maybe. I don't know. I think you have it. We'll have to look at when
I might.
Because maybe it's not a Fatal Frame. Maybe it's part of another franchise that I just...
It could be.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you had it for the system, so actually, when we go back, I'll look and see if I can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright.
Let's see, what else you got?
Played Genshin Impact for a bit.
That was kind of the Breath of the Wild-ish, but more of, like, Tales characters.
Yeah, it was a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
It was fun for a while. Like, there's a lot to do, especially for a free-to-play game. really good graphics. I played it on PS4 and PS5. And the only complaint I have with it is because it's a free to play game, they monetize by, to get new characters you have to use
Is it the gacha system?
Yeah. So that was really because you couldn't just directly be like, oh, this is the character I want. Fuck everyone else. I want this one. So you couldn't do that. But it's they got to make their money somehow, especially with how much they paid to make the game. Really good. It's fun for a while. I just kind of got to the point where I burned out on it.
I've kind of worn myself out on Breath of the Wild style games, open world kind of ones, because I have Immortals, Phoenix Rising. I tried it.
That game is so
funny. It's funny and it's cute, but it's I'll have to come back to it at a certain point because it's
there's 3 expansions for it that I never got.
Yeah, there's quite it's a big fucking game.
Although from what I hear, one of the expansions plays completely different.
Really?
Yeah. So
interesting. Is it kind of what was that one expansion for Breath of the Wild? That Master Quest one or the Master Trials?
Oh, where you could power up the Master Sword.
Yeah, where you basically start the level naked.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that stuff.
I just because the challenges were so stupid. A lot of them, it's you've got 4 arrows and there's 12 guys to beat. Good luck. There's nothing else to fight these guys with, and you have to know exactly how to manipulate the environment and the enemies, and it's just no, just give me some sticks to beat the shit out of these guys with.
Yeah.
That's why I saw a lot of people just ended up, I don't know if it ever got patched out, but there was glitches where you could just basically jump through the wall and fucking just skip some of the trials. So.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild I never got any of the expansions for.
Well, the Master thing was free.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh. It was just an update to the game.
Once I beat it, I kind of just was
I did it. I loaded it up to try to play it through the game again, and I just couldn't. Which is sad because I loved the game, but
same here.
I was trying to play the game in a different order, and I still ended up playing it in the same order. So I was just oh, what the fuck?
Subconsciously, you're just
I was this is the order it has to be done in. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Biomutant.
Gross.
That came out this year.
Yeah, I know
last year.
It's gross.
So
I didn't care for that at all. I gave it to Adam.
I went back after the update, and it still just doesn't feel right. So
that's disappointing. That one was a big disappointment, especially since it had so much promise and it looked really cool. Great idea.
The art style was fantastic. The creature designs are cool.
Yeah.
It's just it wasn't as much kung fu action adventure as they promised.
No.
Which sucked. I was really hoping it was going to be.
Yeah. The whole battle system felt really terrible to me, and just the narrative itself just didn't feel that great.
Yeah,
it was kind of a big letdown to me. That kind of sucked.
Let's see, we'll go with this one. Aliens Fireteam Elite. I played this year.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Yeah, I played that one. I played that one. I beat that one. I've done some stuff. They did some free update recently. I tried some more stuff with it, and it's fun. But it's one of those things where it's there's the makings of a really, really good game there, but because it's so limited, there's only 4 story missions with 3 submissions each, a horde mode, and then some defender mode that they just added recently, and it's well, on your own, you can only play that for so long before you're bored, or
because it's basically all just wave after.
That's all.
That's all it ever is.
It ends up just being basically It's just kind of there's really good design and stuff, but it just
I mean the game was gorgeous,
you burn out on it too fast, and like I said, if you're playing solo, you're gonna give up much faster than you are if you're gonna play in a group.
Well, that and it felt like none of the weapons ever really felt stronger than the other. They all were pretty interchangeable because it's you don't really get stronger. Is definitely the takeaway I had from it.
Once your character class was maxed out and you could do the grid.
Yeah.
My what was it, technician, and then the destroyer or whatever, the heavy class ones. They were just destroying shit. They were fine.
Okay.
But it's just
it takes a while. I always play as shitty classes. I played as the medic.
Yeah, it takes a while to get to that point. Well, and the mechanic for the medic sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And then I played a little bit as the what was it? Maybe it was the technician?
The one with the turret?
Yeah.
Where you had the sentry bot you could just put
I think
down?
so. I think so.
That's the technician.
I liked him, actually. The technician was pretty cool to me.
He was good. And a free fucking turret that if it gets destroyed, it cools down in like 30 seconds. Drop another one so you always have an extra gun.
It was cool. It was a great game. I thought the story was actually not too bad in it.
Yeah, it
looked
fits,
visually beautiful. And
it fits in with like the movies and stuff like that. It was really well done.
And the aliens are fucking terrifying. Like those guys, like the enemy types that you fight were really cool. The big queens that came out and the warriors were fucking scary as shit.
Granted, the focus on the synthetics for parts of the game was stupid.
Yeah,
I was just like, it feels kind of out of place in here. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an alien game. I want to fight aliens. I don't want to fight... I mean, if a Predator would have shown up and we had to fight a Predator, I would have been all for that over the synthetics, but...
That would have been a cool touch, actually. Yeah, to kind of blend, almost like Alien vs. Predator. Yeah, that would have been kind of neat, actually.
Right.
But it was a good game. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I'm hoping they'll do better with, like, a sequel or something, because obviously they're going to make one. Because it did so well. Alright, let's see. Axiom Verge 2.
Oh, yes, that's right. Good old Axiom Verge 2. How did I forget that? For some reason, that one slipped my mind.
But that was
fantastic.
Really good game. I loved that one.
Fantastic.
Story was really weird, but fun.
Graphics were great for its style. I always love those pixel graphics.
My only complaint with the pixel graphics was the map sucked.
Yeah, the mapping was a little strange. I had to kind of turn the background off a little bit, if that makes sense.
Either give me just the generic Castlevania blue or black squares, or if you're going to try to put detailed, like, so I can see what a room looks like in the map, make sure I can actually fucking see what the room looks like in the map.
That's why I said, because they had a slider where you could adjust how poignant the background was. I actually ended up cutting that in half, and it made it a hell of a lot easier to see.
Yeah, it just... I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to look at it at the default and be like, okay, this is what this is.
Yeah, that game was fantastic, though. Great exploration.
Love that you never had to fight, like, any of the bosses except for, like, the last one.
Yeah, that's true. All the bosses were optional.
Every boss was optional. You could just walk into the room and be like, well, fuck this. I'm out. Granted, you'll never get stronger if you don't.
Right.
So...
It was a really, really good follow-up to Axiom Verge 1.
Yeah.
I think they did a really fantastic job with it.
I think I liked the first one a little bit more, though.
The first one felt more focused.
Well, not just that, and the melee weapons and stuff were fun, but with some of the enemy types, like, I just found myself wanting a gun to shoot some of them.
The game was a little hard for me because enemies move so fast and you couldn't kill them right away. Like, you'd end up getting a hit. Yeah. So there was, like, hardly any way to really... I mean, you could deal with them reasonably well because you get used to it, but there's a learning curve. Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, but it played extremely well. I actually liked playing as the drone more than the girl. Yeah, but it was so fast in that way. And just the abilities it had made it so much easier to traverse. Yeah, I mean, but it was fantastic. That's one I definitely highly recommend people play.
Especially if you like Metroidvania games.
Oh yes. So if you like Super Metroid, Axiom Verge 1 is really good.
The one thing I will say that Axiom Verge 2 did that was way cooler than what the first one did was, like, when you go into certain rooms and you would see basically like a cheat code in the background where you can go into certain areas and do something and it would open up paths or cause things to drop. That was really cool. Yeah. The rifts I thought were really cool. I like going in between like the rifts to traverse certain things. Yeah. That was a really neat touch. I think the game was spot on. It was it scratched that itch for a Metroidvania that I was having at the time. Yeah. It was perfect. Yeah. I absolutely adored it. All right, let's see. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. I didn't play too much into that one. I haven't finished it yet because I kind of burned myself out on it. Just because, like, it's a great story. It's great exploration. My problem is, like, combat sucks in it. It feels very, like, dated combat-wise. Yeah, that's what you were saying. It kind of feels like a PS2, PS3 era combat. Yeah, like, it did feel a little stiff to me. Honestly, if they would have, like, just dropped combat and made it, like, a puzzle exploration game, it would have been perfect. But, yeah, I'm close to the end, I think. I just... I'll go back to it and finish it eventually. I just started like, yeah, I got to a certain point, and then it was just kind of like, and then started playing other stuff. Let's see, Scarlet Nexus.
Oh God, yes.
How'd you forget that one?
I don't know. This year's been a blur.
That game was fucking fantastic.
Scarlet Nexus was fucking great.
I have not finished going through the story as the girl yet, though. I went through as the guy.
I have to restart that one.
And now then, like, apparently once you go through as the girl, like, it fleshes out the story better.
You said you're supposed to start as the guy first, right?
Yeah, basically.
I fucked that up. I started as
Well,
the
you can
girl.
do it either way, but if you play as the girl first and then play the guy's story, like, her story spoils some of his stuff.
Okay.
So it makes more sense to play him than her.
Okay.
I know they added a bunch of, like, there's a couple, like, DLC packs that add more of those character missions.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Yeah,
because now they added a new level. There's, like, an EX level.
Oh, that's cool.
So that you can only get by having those, so.
That was a fantastic game, too. Played really well. Psychic powers were really well done. They felt fluid.
I'm hoping for a sequel of some sort.
That would be
Doesn't
good.
necessarily have to continue this story. It can jump to a completely new story, and I'd be okay with that. But the combat and the way everything felt in that game, they need to do more with this game, with that engine.
I feel like if Astral Chain ever did a sequel, it would do really well in that style.
Yeah.
Because that one really looked good.
Yeah.
They really knocked it out of the park. Scarlet Nexus, yeah. It was basically like a Psychic Tales game.
The only thing is, like, it needed more enemy types.
Yeah, you definitely kind of start to fight the same shit.
Why? Because it's literally just the same creatures. A couple of them are just palette swapped, and then, like, one or two have slightly different cosmetic things on them. But it is literally the same creatures repeated all the time. So that's a little disappointing.
Oh, that was one thing God Eater kind of suffered from, too. Was you had, like, some of the monsters were basically the same core type of what they did, but they had completely different looks.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a couple right off the bat. The big tank had a couple of different ones.
Yeah,
the Quetzalcoatl.
Or then there's the different Vajra variants.
Yeah.
The Ogre Tail variants.
But, yeah, those were... That kind of... Because who did God Eater? Wasn't that...
Bandai.
Namco?
Yeah. Which is why...
makes a lot of sense, actually.
Which is why God Eater and
that's right.
Code Vein crossed over.
That's right. That's one I
Hell,
still have to
technically
try.
Tails crossed over with God Eater.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did. Because, when I... oh, that's right. Tales of Arise. There we go.
That was my last one. That's my last one is Tales of Arise.
Yeah, because I ended up buying that crossover one with the Code Vein. That's one I have to try. Code Vein. I have to try more of that.
Of the Soul style, it's the only one I like.
It's because it was a Soul style that really didn't feel like it.
Well, not only, you actually felt like you got stronger. Like, having the partner with you was fun. The story was better.
Yeah.
Granted, a little cliche, but...
No, aren't they all?
Yeah.
But yeah, Scarlet Nexus, I think, was a top-notch game. I was really impressed with that one.
Yeah. Story gets a little weird because it starts involving time travel.
God damn it. I didn't get that far.
The story gets weird.
They really just dump you into it, too. Like...
It's hard to follow until you get the full picture, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a little fucked up, but
I mean, it's a cool idea. I really like it because, like, as the girl, when her sister changes, I thought it was really neat.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's a lot of twists in it, and they come hard and fast. Life comes at you fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when I'll have to restart that one soon.
Yeah.
Once I kind of finish off some of these ones I've been playing lately. Because I kind of dropped that one for a while to start playing like Returnal and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just gotta go load back up and finish her story, and then. Well, the one cool thing was because you're able to do it as like a New Game Plus thing. So when I started her story as New Game Plus, like all of like the upgraded weapons. So like, because at the end of his story, you basically have access to all of the characters,
Okay, which makes sense.
So I was able to get all of them, their most upgraded weapons and stuff like that. So when I started her game, I started with the strongest goddamn weapon in the game. So like she's just running up to stuff and like slice, slice, slice. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was supposed to be a hard fight, wasn't it?
That's awesome. The boss fights were really satisfying in that one.
Being able to just like grab the environment, throw it down on it.
Yeah, the elemental.
Did you get far enough to where you got like the super, like the Psycho Crush ability or whatever, where the environment changes?
Yes, I
where
believe
it like
I
turns
did.
into like a purple, like black void.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't quite get that far.
You get this thing where I think you hit like L3, R3, and you do your full psychic power, and you just end up in this like void where all this shit's floating. You can throw stuff at enemies.
Oh, yeah, I
and
definitely didn't get that far.
like the powers get really cool.
That's
Especially
awesome.
especially when you start combining, like you could do the link system, the SAS I think it was.
Yeah.
Where you grab like the other psychic people's powers, so he would use their powers too.
That was such a cool idea too, with all like everybody having their own different like
Unique element traits. Yeah.
There are different abilities with like psychokinesis and all this other shit. It was a really cool touch.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for psychic powers, man. That stuff's always really cool to me.
Yeah. And there's like revelations about like the two main characters that like happen later in the game that you're just like, oh, things make so much more sense now because you're like, your powers are generic, and then you realize your power is not generic.
It kind of feels like what's his face from the Persona games, your main character who's like everybody but nothing at the same time. What is it? They always say you're zero, where it's like you're a number full, you're nothing but you're infinite possibilities.
Sort of. I'll just give you mild spoilers. Turns out your power is not psychokinesis.
Really?
Yeah, not at all.
Oh, awesome.
Your power is something completely fucking different. So like all the shit you're doing, you're like, okay, makes sense that you're able to do all that shit plus have the effect on the story that you're doing. You're like, they actually thought that out pretty well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to actually playing that one again then.
And then yeah, my last one is Tales of Arise because well, that one was just fucking amazing.
Tales of Arise was fantastic. They took so many great things and made them much better.
No, and then art style, like
Art
that,
style
like
was
water
great.
paint, like the almost the watercolor painting for the environment and stuff just looked gorgeous.
I loved
Ran
all the
so
characters.
well on the PS5.
Oh yeah, all the characters were actually really cool. I loved what's her face, Rinwell. I thought she was amazing. All the characters felt great.
The only thing is like it, especially coming from like Berseria and stuff. Well, I think Berseria and Zestiria were even, but like. It's weird coming from some of the earlier Tales games where you had the world map, like Vesperia, Symphonia, and stuff like that, where you had the world map to not having a world map, and Arise being a very like linear game.
Yeah,
it was a little weird.
It was a little linear, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's literally just okay. You're in this area, do all this, get to the end,
fight the Lord, and go to the next one.
Yeah, and that's what it is until like way later in the game. Granted, you have the ability to like quick travel like from the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah, quick travel was huge.
So there's a whole bunch of like side quests that open up as you're jumping to the new areas.
Yeah.
So it's like,
one of the things I found funny in it is when you did quick travel, the characters made it sound like they actually had to travel.
Yeah.
It was really funny. Like, whew, that took a while. It was just one of those weird little funny things that it makes sense because like quick travel doesn't actually exist in that world. So it's like, okay, cool. Like it was one of those neat little nods that like you always wonder about in some of these games.
Or some of the interactions around the campfires when you're taking a break.
Oh yeah, like the character development between all of the characters was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought Doalim was really well done, and just a lot of their motivations were really well like thought out. Kasara, as all these things. The game was phenomenal. It really was. There were a few aspects that I think weren't very well done.
The only like two like major complaints I have with it were related to combat.
A little combat, yeah.
Well, one was just like I hate that everything has super armor.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. Like I understand some of like the bigger enemies having it or an enemy being able to trigger an ability that gives it that, but everything having super armor to where you don't stun anything in the game until they hit that break point.
Yeah.
For an action RPG, that just does not feel good.
No. It got annoying too when you like because every character had their own unique ability to combat certain enemy types. Like Law could break through shields and stuff, and it was annoying when you met a fight where like 5 enemies would have that ability. Well, Law using it hits maybe 2 of them.
Yeah,
and then I kill them, and now I have to wait for Law to recharge to use that ability. And I was like, God damn it!
Yeah, or you have to find a way of grouping them up so you hit all of them at once.
Yeah, it's especially in like some of like the hunts, like those fights because I ended up hitting a point in that game where it's like my partner, I'm actually out of money and out of items because my partners are so useless that they die right away. Or the enemies are hitting me so hard that I just can't survive. And I don't know if I'm under-leveled.
And that's the problem is, like, this one... Each region is basically level-capped, too.
Oh, that's right. You were saying... Yeah, because your experience goes down.
So, enemies in, like, the first area range... We'll just make up a number from, like... Say they go from, like, 5 to, like, 20. Well, once you hit, like, level 20 or 21... The amount of experience you get is basically like halved, if not more. Mm-hmm. So like, it's just kind of like, and until you get like the artifacts that give you like bonus SP and XP at the end of battle and stuff like that, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like grinding levels in that one sucked.
Maybe that's because that's the point where I'm at is just like some of the enemies are just it's a chore to battle. Like the boss fights are a joke to me because I can't survive it. All my guys are getting knocked out, and I have no healing items left, and I can't afford any of them.
And while I like that healing system it has, where like you can only have the
you have the reserve that fuels your healing.
I like that, but at the same time, does get a little annoying on some of the harder fights.
Yeah, I find that it's hard to manage.
Yeah,
especially when what's her face Xion will just constantly spam healing, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Basically, yeah. For most of the game, a lot of the party basically I just had stuff on that either boosted defense or HP, and that was it.
Yeah, but otherwise the game was fantastic. It was a fucking top-notch narrative.
Yeah,
that I really enjoyed, and I think it plays extremely well. Like I said, it's one of the few games where I actually loved all the characters.
Yeah.
And because I thought at first Law was going to be annoying, I actually kind of like him, and I like his fighting style.
I was afraid the mage was going to end up being like
Maggie Lou?
No, Rita.
Oh, yeah.
Because she seemed like that at first, and then like when she kind of first meet her, I'm like, oh great, she's going to be another Rita where she's just annoying, and then like she'll like slowly change. But I'm like, oh god, no.
Yeah,
and then she ended up not being that way. I'm like, oh okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that game was very good. I was really impressed with what they did.
Yeah.
They certainly knocked it out of the park on that. For sure. So, let's move on to what we have coming out in this first quarter of next year. So, obviously the first game to come out in the end of January here is Pokemon Arceus. I have it pre-ordered. I don't know if you wanted it pre-ordered or what you want. I don't know if you're going to get it.
I don't know. I'm torn. Like,
the more I see about it, the more I want it because I'm a sucker for that regional variant shit.
Yeah, I like the regional variants. I really like some of the design. Well, some of the designs
looks so cool.
Some of the other designs that they've done for regional variants have been stupid. Like what was it Diglett that got the hair?
Oh yeah,
like some of the
regional, became steel ground. Yeah.
Some of the regional variants have been the dumbest thing that they've ever done.
The Alolan region had some really stupid.
But then other regions like the Zorua.
Yeah, Zorua
for this new region
look fucking great.
Fucking awesome looking.
Being Ghost normal was such an interesting typing. First,
it was never done before this.
It was never done before. And normally when they add normal type to anything, it's a detriment.
Yeah.
There is nothing that normal can do.
It always gets rid of one of their resistances or something.
Yeah, well, look at Doduo. He's normal flying. Even though he's an ostrich, he can't fly anyway. But, like, or even Pidgeotto, Pidgeot. Like, normal does you no good except get rid of your flying weak, or your fighting resistance.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's dumb.
But like with this Zoroark, who's normal Ghost, it's almost like a twofold thing. Ghost doesn't work on normal, so he's not affected by other ghosts. Perfect. Well,
Normal doesn't affect Ghost at all.
normal doesn't affect Ghost at all, so that's great. Normal doesn't affect anything, really. So it's like, all right, so he can't
Well,
be touched
normal
by that.
can't even hit Ghost anymore.
No,
so.
which fighting also can't touch Ghost. So it gets rid of its normal weakness, which is the only weakness it has. It's fighting. So it's a kind of a genius combination. It's the only way. Normal is actually very well thought out.
If I'm not mistaken, the normal Ghost has the most resistances and immunities of any combination.
I want to say Dark Ghost did, because Sableye for a while was the only Pokemon that, because that's how you got that typing, or that cheat kind of, where you could breed Sableye to have Wonder Guard, where he could only be hit by super effective moves. But at the time before Fairy came out, Dark Ghost had literally 0 weaknesses. You couldn't kill Sableye. You couldn't even hit him, if I'm not mistaken. I think you needed to hit him with like a poison or a burn or something. You needed some way to inflict a status effect that did damage. But then
normal Ghost has no weaknesses.
Well, wouldn't it have Psychic or Dark? It would have to. Because Ghost is weak to Dark. Dark would still work on it.
Let's see. Dark would be 2 times effective against Ghost.
Yeah. And then just normal against normal.
Oh, yeah.
So it would have, it'd be 2 times weak to Dark. Psychic might be as well? I'm not positive. I don't know anymore, because, like, for some reason, like, Dark, Ghost, Fairy, and Psychic all befuddle me.
Yeah,
like, I still don't really know what, like, a lot of things work on when it comes to that trio, or that, like, combination of quads there, because, like, some of them make sense and some of them don't. Like, Fairy, I know, is weak to Steel and Poison. But I want to say Fire, for some reason, is resistant to Fairy, but not weak to Fire? I don't...
Yeah,
it's something bizarre. Oh, and it works on Dragon, because that was the whole idea, is it's supposed to be Dragon's counter. But, yeah, like, Zoroark being normal Ghost was a genius typing. I want to say Voltorb is actually going to have a regional variant as well.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And it's something kind of goofy. Voltorb. Hisui. He is going to be Electric Grass. It looks like that. It looks like a wooden ball.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I kind of thought he was going to be a rock or something. But yeah, the Hisuian Voltorb is going to be Electric Grass. Which is kind of an interesting type, actually.
Have they done... I can't think.
I don't think so. Not that I think about it. I don't think there is an Electric Grass. Not that I can... There's Electric Steel with Togedemaru. There's Flying Electric with Emolga. Pachirisu is... Yeah, there's Water Electric. There's...
I don't think there's...
Ground Electric? No, Ground Steel. No, I don't know. Electric is kind of phased in and out between a whole bunch of different types.
Yeah.
But, like, you have... I want to say that they've kind of said that the evolutions of the starters are going to have regional variants. Unless maybe that was just a fan thing I saw. But there was kind of, like, speculation. But you have, like, evolutions have different regional variants. Like, you have Stantler finally has an evolution into Werdeer. Basculin's going to be Basculegion. Scyther is getting another fucking type. Or another thing. He's going to be Rock... What is it? Rock something. Rock Bug. He turns into Cleaver now. Which is annoying, because I kind of wish they would have done that with Pinsir more than Scyther. Pinsir deserves some fucking time in the shine.
Yeah.
Braviary is going to be Psychic Flying. So it's like, they're going to change a whole bunch of types. Growlithe, of course, he's going to be Fire Rock, and he evolves into something different now, too. So it's like, it's really interesting to me. I think it's going to be very fascinating to see what they do with the game. But from what I've read so far, there's been a leak that somebody did where they said that they've actually removed abilities and held items from the game, which a lot of people are up in arms about. And I'm like,
okay. I really don't use held items very often.
Well, I mean, with the style of game this is, it kind of makes sense. And with the abilities, like, okay, it's fine. Like,
fine. With certain abilities, especially because it's like the open world type thing, like the weather affecting ones would be kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so it's like I get why they removed that, because that's not what the game's about, really.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about how combat's going to be in this one.
I don't really know, and that's kind of the biggest mystery of how this is going to go, because it's like
does it play like a normal Pokemon where it's going to shift into another scene to fight, or do you just fight in the area?
It fights in the area. So like but
is it still turn-based?
I don't know, because they show scenes of you just throwing out a Pokemon or a Pokeball. The Pokemon pops out and then attacks and then goes back into the Pokeball but you fight things that way. But then it also shows fights where like a Pokemon will yell at you and it goes into turn-based. I don't know. I'm not sure how.
I haven't really kept up too much on it. I think the Zorua was the last thing I really looked at.
Well, they haven't really released a whole lot, which is strange too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's like you get two different types of battle. I'm not quite sure.
I'm gonna say maybe trainer battles are different than wild encounters.
Maybe because like
that would make sense though.
The wild Pokemon can also attack you directly. Like if you're in the wild, sometimes like if you're going to catch a Shinx, it might just charge at you.
Kind of like in Sword and Shield where they would start chasing you.
Kind of, but it doesn't trigger a battle. They just knock your ass over, and I think they can take you out.
Which I thought was always funny when like you'd be walking, all of a sudden something would pop and just and you're like, oh shit!
Yeah, a Lucario just comes charging at you, or a Machamp. So it's like I'm not entirely sure how combat's going to be, and that's what my younger brother's worried about. He's like, he's not sure if they're going to just do a let's go and focus on the exploration rather than the battle, or if they're
for me, Pokemon needs battle. It's
me too. I think it needs, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be its focus. It's not going to be as in depth with like IVs and EVs like the main line.
Like I wouldn't even mind like them stripping away turn-based and going to a
full action.
Choose an action. I choose this Pokemon that goes into battle. I directly control that Pokemon in battle, so it'd be more like the TV show.
Yeah.
Where like I can hit B, dodge, and then my other buttons are holding like R, and I can pull up the wheel to do my my moves and shit like that. And
see, that's how I've always kind of imagined the games should have gone. Is more of an action based, and it's like use a move, and then it has a cooldown.
Yeah.
And then you
still have an energy meter, stuff like that. So
I think that'd be a cool idea.
It would be freaking awesome, but unfortunately, Pokemon's one of those fan bases that like. When they deviate,
die hard.
If they deviate too much, they bitch. If they stay exactly the same, they bitch.
Like us.
It's like...
Well, we've also been playing 8 generations of the same game.
Well, and see, that's why, like, at least with Arceus, they can be like, well, it's not a mainline game.
Yeah, true.
So I can do, like, with Snap or anything like that, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And they should.
And this looks good. Like, I'm kind of digging it.
I like the art style and everything.
Yeah, the art style is great. I think the game looks like it's going to play fantastic. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So that's one of the ones and that comes out later this month, so I'm already excited for it. It comes out the 28th of January, I believe.
I'm gonna say, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to see more before I decide if I want it or not, because that's my big fear with it is like it's going to be get it and just be like, it's going to end up like Biomutant, where it's just I like a bunch of the ideas, but I just don't like the way the game plays.
Yeah,
and
execution fell short.
And I just don't want to like have it and then put it down and just never touch it again. Like Biomutant is collecting dust, so it's like.
Yeah. Maybe once I get it, I'll play it for a while and then let you know.
Yeah.
Or you can come over and watch it for a while and see. Yeah.
Let's see, what is it? February, Horizon Forbidden West.
Yes. Horizon Zero Dawn sequel.
Yeah, that one looks so amazing.
Is that just me, or is it agitating to you that people care about how attractive Aloy is?
I think she looks fine.
Or how lack of attractive she is?
I think she looks fine.
Who's complaining?
Idiots.
Like, Because I remember that was a big thing when they showed it. They're like, oh, she's
chubby. She's got chubby cheeks now.
She's got chubby cheeks. She's too masculine. She's not. I'm like, when was this ever an issue? In the first one, she wasn't, like, if you want to be sexist, traditionally attractive.
Oh, she was like, yeah.
I thought she was cute as fuck. I thought she was adorable.
She's a fucking redhead. Of course she is.
Oh yeah. I thought she was hot, and she's a badass. Like, I loved playing as Aloy. She's one of my favorite, like, heroines.
Yeah.
From any game. Like, I really dug it, and this one I'm looking really forward to as well.
Yeah, all the new mechanics, like the glider and all, like, the stuff that they've added.
Yeah.
And swimming. Being able to go underwater looks like it's going to be amazing. All the stuff they showed for like that opening scene or that thing they showed in the God, what was it, that release trailer? Yeah.
They show where you're rescuing that guy. I thought looked incredible. I'm really, really looking forward to it, and I hope it lives up to it. I can't see how they could fuck it up.
I mean, they could keep the formula from the first one, and as long as it's like it keeps that formula and it's a good story, it's good. It's golden.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see like what the next
what part of the story
what part of the story goes, because
the end of, like, not only the main game but then the
expansion.
Frozen Wilds.
Yeah,
like, you got the full story
that Hephaestus was Frozen Wilds. I can't remember which god it is.
I don't remember, but you basically you go up the one rune and you learn the truth about what happened.
Yeah,
you learn basically like everything. So now it's not so much her trying to figure out who she is in the past and stuff about the past. It's more of now I'm leaving the only place I've ever known. Mm-hmm. What type of adventure is going to be happening?
Yeah, because
it's going to be clans and people she's never dealt with. Creature like the robot types that she's never dealt with. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen like the turtle. There's that like swimming like Leviathan almost looking thing.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
I want to say that game was almost the game of the year for me that year. It released Horizon because it felt so good to play and it looked so fantastic.
And it plays even better on the PS5, so I can't wait for the PS5 version of Forbidden West.
Yes. So I do, for Christmas, I pre-ordered that edition, the special edition for you.
Oh, okay.
Not the one with the statue. Don't be ridiculous. I ain't spending $300.
Well, and to be honest, it's one of the few games where I've looked at like the editions that have come out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, normal edition, I'm like, okay, it's the game. And then like the deluxe edition is like the game, a soundtrack, and then like a couple pieces of equipment. I'm like, the fuck is all that for? Just normal edition.
Yeah. I got you that one.
Because like usually the deluxe editions have some like the season pass or something like that, but this one it's literally all just stuff that's probably going to be useless within the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
Other than the soundtrack. And
well, what was nice is because you could upgrade the equipment. And actually, some of that stuff you got from like pre-ordering or whatever on the first one.
I never used any of it.
Oh, I used a bit of it.
But I think I got the first one used, so I didn't get any of the pre-order stuff until later.
And I know the complete edition had a bunch of extra shit too. I got that from my brother for Christmas.
It had some armors that were added after the fact.
Yeah. But no, I am 100% looking forward to that, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm really... Aloy is one I have one of the Funko Pop figures for, and I hope they kind of do another one of her for Forbidden West. So, yep, there's that. And then I want to say March?
March is
April
Wonderland.
is Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
That's March.
That is March, yes.
March, like... It's either right before or right after my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I remember. But
that one looks fantastic too.
Did you see the new character reveals?
No, I didn't.
So the first two they revealed were the Stabomancer, which is an assassin archetype who can like summon psychic blades and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And goes stealth, so he's a rogue.
So he's like Zero.
Yeah, but he's a rogue.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then the other one they revealed originally was the Berserker, which is just a berserker, but he's like all ice abilities.
So like a cryo mage kind of.
No, but he's like melee folk. Like
interesting.
Berserker.
It's so stupid.
Then
this game's gonna be ridiculous.
What was the third one they revealed was it was some stupid pun about the hammer, because it's got this hammer that can throw it and summon it back like Thor.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's got a pet fucking dragon. And then the fourth class they've revealed is a wizard who's got the ability to put 2 spells on instead of 1.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I'll probably use him. I'll be honest.
I was like wizard, and the fact that you can
Yeah.
do like cross classes.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. There's 2 more classes they have to reveal still.
Wow, they're gonna have 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the fact that it's a
Fascinating.
completely customizable character.
Yeah.
Like you're choosing your class, the way you look. I really want to get the it's like I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's basically it's the game, the season pass, and then there's these like 2 hero armor sets that come with it for pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to get that version just because the game looks so good.
It looks phenomenal, and I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I liked Borderlands 3.
Some of the stuff that they've talked about for it are like hilarious because like if you've played, did you play any of like Tiny Tina Assault on Dragon Keep?
Yes. Wait, the one they released recently, or the one on PS2 or PS2, the one on Borderlands 2?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It just they've released it as a standalone.
Oh yes, I did.
Okay,
I played a bunch of it. Yeah.
So do you remember like you would be doing something, and then like she'd like introduce this big badass, and then all of a sudden they'd be like, dude, it's the beginning of the game.
Yes.
So she'd be like, fine, it's this instead.
Yeah.
Well, a bunch of like I guess that sort of stuff happens like in the game in this one as well, but it'll happen on the world map. So like one of the things they showed was like there was a Cheeto across the border. So she's like, it's an indestructible wall that you can't get by, and she's like, how do we get around it? She's like, I don't eat it. It's like so,
I've always liked Tiny Tina. I always thought she was a funny character, and I liked her in 2 and 3. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. And
yeah.
because Borderlands is one of those where it's the jokes kind of run stale after a while, but it's still
But it never takes
enjoyable.
itself too serious that it ruins the stuff.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to Tiny Tina's Wonderland because to me that was one of the best expansions they ever did.
Yeah.
Was Dragon Keep.
Yes.
Even though it was horridly unbalanced and very kind of a pain in the ass, it was actually a really funny idea and a really great narrative.
Yeah.
Because she's just an enjoyable character.
Well,
anyway.
and it was a good way of her dealing with the death of a character from the main game. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it was really well thought out.
Mm-hmm. One of the ones, I don't remember when it releases, but I had actually just recently seen a video on it, was Forspoken. Speaking of Square Enix.
Yeah, that one
another
looks
one.
really, really good.
It's very, very fascinating to me. And I don't know much about it, but I did pre-order it just because the idea of it looked really fascinating, because it's like she's all wizardy. You know I'm a sucker for wizardies.
The story that they've revealed so far is she's basically from our world.
Yeah, she's from like New York or something?
And then something happens and she gets sucked into the other world to be a savior.
Yes.
Although it's like, and like the weird thing is like, I guess it's basically a female-dominated world where all the positions of power are women. So,
that's what I've seen.
And it's like there's like this weird like conniving council that's like out to kill her or something like that, or take her powers.
It looks
she has some
really
like sentient
fascinating.
weapon.
Yeah, it's just it looked extremely fascinating to me, and I'm like, "Ooh, this is really neat."
I really hope
and it looks gorgeous.
I hope they nail it because like the spell stuff they've shown looks really, really cool.
Oh, yeah, the spell stuff in the trailer looked great, where she clumps them together and then does like the big ice thing.
Yeah,
I was like, this looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Or the one where she's parkouring, like running across the edge of like the crevice on the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, that's one I once I saw the trailer, I was like, I definitely probably gonna pre-order this because that looks really good.
Yeah,
and just the story intrigued me. You know, it's this big
for
matriarchal society.
I'm always a sucker for wizard type characters though. So
oh, me too. I always love wizardy things. That's always usually if you throw some sort of wizardy thing in there, that's who I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the 4 that I have. I'm looking forward to next year. At least first quarter that they've revealed.
Dying Light 2.
I'll probably wait on that. I did like Dying Light 1 a lot.
The first one was so good. The second one looks like it's even better.
Yeah.
So they're just adding a lot of verticality and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay,
that's good. That was one thing I really did enjoy about the first one, was a lot of like the just the way you could climb the environment.
Yeah.
They really thought it out very well. And a lot of games have kind of utilized that since.
Well, and like this one's you're gonna have like like a wingsuit, so you can climb up to the top of the skyscrapers and glide across the city and shit like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and then there's some sort of like faction system in this one, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, interesting.
So supposedly, like, it'll be more, what is it? I think Morrowind style, where if you side with one faction, you can't do another one.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
So
Okay,
supposedly,
cool.
we'll see how much
Cool.
that actually makes it into the final game.
Yeah, yeah. Is in Dying Light 1, I remember the only thing I didn't like was the nighttime stuff.
See, I like it, but oh my god, is it stressful?
Yeah, it was the one thing that I was kind of just like,
Because once those big mutant guys start chasing you,
oh yeah, you're fucked. Yeah, you're fucked. And well, like I had said when we were talking about like Resident Evil Village or 7, I'm sorry, where it's just like I'm terrible with getting chased and being able to evade stuff.
At least in Dying Light, like if you have the grapple hook, you've got enough like space where you can just sprint or actually stealth by a lot of these creatures and stuff.
That's true. That's
so
true.
There's enough options that you can do stuff.
But that was a really good game. Actually, I'll have to keep my eye on that one.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Oh, God of War.
Well, that's right.
Ragnarok.
God of War Ragnarok comes out next year.
So, well, this year.
Or this year, I guess.
I think September, I think, is what they said.
Hopefully it doesn't get pushed back or anything.
It was supposed to be out last year.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so it got pushed back to next year. So.
Well, that should be interesting. I'll have to finish the first one at some point.
Yeah.
That was another one. Great game. Great story. I actually didn't mind it. It's the first God of War game I've thoroughly enjoyed so far. Because I actually don't mind Kratos. Because he's definitely more human.
He's mellowed out a lot.
Yes. He is more likable than any of the other God of War games. I actually really liked his character. Because he like just didn't know how to talk to his son. Like, that's basically the game. Like, he just doesn't know how to emote. But, like, you could tell that he loves his kid. Like, that's what made it so great.
Well, and he's afraid of, because of all the events of the previous series, he's afraid to be close to his kid because he knows that as soon as he gets close to his kid, he's afraid that this kid's gonna die too, like his previous family, who died and are bonded to his fucking skin.
Yeah. So it's just... Yeah, but they did a fantastic... The game looked gorgeous. Combat was... stressful to me because
cuts in the camera ever, which is weird.
One big cam. It was fantastic. The game was beautiful.
Yeah,
I really, like I said, I
still have never beaten the Valkyrie Queen, but
oh shit, I've seen things. I've seen videos on her, and I'm not good enough in battles to do that kind of stuff.
I died like 20 times where I'm like, I don't need to beat you.
Yeah. So, well, I guess that'll do it for this one.
Yep.
2021 had a lot of great games. We played a lot of great stuff. 2022 is shaping up to have a lot of good things too, hopefully. Well, hopefully we don't get a Biomutant flop.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But let us know what you played last year and what you are looking forward to this year. What do you want to play? What's in your backlog that you've been thinking of playing that just haven't? Because either life gets in the way or... You're like us, where you get ADD and you just don't feel like playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can always hit us up on Facebook.
There's Twitter.
There's PowerTripGaming.tv. Takes you directly to the YouTube channel where you can watch us play through some of the games that we have in our backlog. Like Paul finishing off Silent Hill 2. I'm going to be starting Fatal Frame. We're going to be doing all sorts of shit.
And if you don't like social media, we have Gmail. It's nespowertrip@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
It would have been bad. I'm the one who set it up if I didn't remember it.
And you almost bungled it. You had to think about it for a hot second.
Fuck off.
So yes, that'll be another Power Trip Gaming Powercast. Now you're listening.
No power.
With power.
Oh,
Paul's here!
say, look who decides to finally join us.
He woke up. How's your headache, buddy?
With power.